Okay, so let's learn a little bit. Um, uh, okay, we're up to here. A guy was chachma ma'asim tovim. The pride of chachma and good deeds. In other words, in chachma and good deeds. In other words, a person until now we're talking about being proud in a physical way about one's physical characteristics. Now we're talking about being proud about one's chachma, one's wisdom, and ma'asim tovim, one's good deeds. Yesh v'shnei with two aspects. Echad tov ve'echad ra. One is good and one is bad. And it's going to start with the bad one. Hagaiva rahi. What's the bad gaiva? You denigrate people in your heart and with your mouth. In other words, in your heart is bad enough, but certainly if you do in your mouth, it's even worse. And you look down at everybody. Everybody else is small and of little value before relative to yourself. And you praise yourself and give glory to yourself that you are great in wisdom. So the greatest problem of gaiva is that you're not going to be modal emes. In other words, if you're wrong and you're about gaiva, you don't want to admit you're wrong because it makes you look inferior, it makes you look weak. And if you're arrogant and proud and haughty, you don't want to look wrong or weak, and therefore you're going to keep obstinately maintaining your mistake, and you're never going to give in. So that is very dangerous because that way you're never going to know what's true. You won't give in to what's true. And you always think that your chachma and your etza, your wisdom and your counsel is superior, which is going to be a problem because that means you're never going to understand when you make a mistake that that it's possible you to make a mistake even. And your words and your deeds. You're going to look at them that they are more praiseworthy than the deeds and the wisdom of your friends. And you're always going to take glory in your chachma and in your maisim. In other words, you're going to always say that I am superior. And why is that? Obviously, the person who's arrogant, who's proud, wants to get honor, wants to get praise and honor on his how wonderfully straight his words are. And that Shlomo said, you should not seek your own praises. If other people praise you, great, but don't praise yourself, and don't even, or Tzaddikim is saying, seek to make other people praise you, because he's going to come back to that later on. A person who is proud and arrogant is always going to give credit to himself. And it's not just to give credit to himself. He's going to hold himself to be so great. And mitoch kach, as a result, lo yitrach la Torah, he won't toil in Torah. That's a very important point to make. A person can reach a level, let's say in a classroom, and in life, depending where a person is holding, where he doesn't need to learn anymore. Now, by that I mean, let's say if you have if you're in a class and you don't have to, you know everything that there is to know for the test. So then, why should you study anymore? Why should you learn anything? And that you're going to do well on the test anyway. So therefore, you have no need to learn anymore. A person, a Rav, can reach a point in life where they know enough Torah, they have enough knowledge, enough wisdom in order to coast for the rest of their lives. In other words, you can come into a room and say a decent shir on almost any topic and be able to answer almost any question. And what else should you learn at this point? Now, that's true if the only reason why you're learning is for your own pride. If you're learning for your own gaiva, and this is always a very big danger, so then you know enough to impress other people. You know enough to make sure they look up to you. Why do you have to learn anymore? That's it. And I personally have always been very, very afraid of this myself, because I know that I know enough to say enough shurim and to give enough classes that I don't really have to prepare, and I can impress people with my knowledge on many, many subjects. So it's a very big danger if you're a Baal Gaiva and all you're interested in is being proud of yourself. Then what else do I have to learn? I just play games and just get by what I know. And that's what Tzaddikim says. A Baal Gaiva is not concerned with what makes a bigger Kiddush Hashem, what gives more honor to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's not his concern. Rakshi Yodel Olam, what he wants is that people should concede to him, Shu Adam Tov V'Chacham, that he's a smart and good person. Now, by the way, it's important. He says not just that he's a chacham, but also he's tov. About a guy, but sometimes it's good enough for him that he's smart. He doesn't need anything else. But a lot of times, about a guy, but it's not good enough that he's smart. He also wants people to think he's good. And again, he'll do just a good enough good that people are going to think, "Wow, this guy, he's a holy guy. He's a tzaddik." But no more, because he's not interested in doing things for true reasons, but only for his own pride. So people look at him, he'll be popular, and he'll be praised by people. But say he'll die, and that's enough. He doesn't need to be actually good or smart. He should be just good and smart enough to be good or better and smarter than everybody else. And this leads to other negative ramifications. As a result, he's always going to be happy when his friend stumbles. And the less they know. Because it's like, if they're down here, then he only has to be up here. If they're up here, he has to go further up. So he's going to be happy whenever their friend stumbles, misses, especially if they fall down, because then he doesn't have to exert himself further. And that's why he's happy. He's happy they no less. And the worst is that he's going to get his pleasure from his friend's embarrassment, because that makes him feel superior. One of the 24 things which impedes a person in tshuva is that you are happy when other people fall. It's very hard to actually make up with other people and treat them appropriately and respectfully if every time they fall, it's good for you. Adam shekol ma'asav tovim. A person, all he does is he really does good stuff. But when he praises himself about them to get honor, he's similar to a very, very significant gourmet dish. It has all the great spices and all the great herbs. And standing on the fire. To the point that it gets burnt and then it smells disgusting. The point that's not worth eating because of the bitterness of the burnt part of it. So the person who does good deeds, but he honors himself by boasting of his good deeds. He burns and he smells disgusting, by praising his own good deeds. A person shouldn't, that's like you said before, a person who praises himself is repugnant. A person can be praised by others, and a person should also not look for the praise of others. A person should do things because they're the right thing to do. Now that's even if you do, if you are good and you are wise. But if somebody actually takes pride and boasts about stuff which he didn't do, there's no worse midah and nothing like it, because the person lives in sheker and he thrives in sheker and he loves the sheker because it makes him proud. Chazal said, if they give honor to you because they say, wow, he knows 2 Masechtos, you only know one of those Masechtos, you have to tell them that you only know one. Somebody says, you know, XYZ, you have to say, well, I really don't know X, and Y I know a little bit, and Z I know. But a person shouldn't let people think about him that he's superior, that he's greater than he actually is, because that is false, and it gives a person a false perspective on who they are themselves. I think I told you once that I was learning in the mirror in New York many years ago. Before I was married, a bacher came over to me and said, "Is it true what they say about you?" And I said, "Well, what do they say about me?" And he said, "They say about you finished Shas except for one page. So you couldn't say that you finished Shas." So I said, first of all, anybody who knows me knows that I would finish Shas, and I would say that I finished Shas. I wouldn't stop and say that I couldn't finish Shas. But besides, that's not true. At the time, at least, I was nowhere near finishing Shas. So
I don't think
what?
I don't think I ever heard that.
No? Okay, I thought I told it over. So the point is that you know, if a person comes to you and says, "Oh, I heard you learned all of Shas," and you didn't, you have to say you didn't. And because that's called, you have to be honest. And kol sheken olam. You shouldn't lead people astray. That they'll hold you as being greater than you actually are. V'da, and you should know. We're required that all of our deeds should be l'shem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for the purpose of Hashem, whether they're revealed or concealed. In other words, you do things in public, you do things in private. Everything we do in serving Hashem should only be to fulfill God's will. Not to fulfill the will of people. Which would be to do it in order to get praised on his deeds and receive respect. Do everything for Kodesh Baruch Hu, who is looking at your heart. Moshe Kasu, like it says, Ani Hashem choker lei b'chein klayos. I'm a Kodesh Baruch Hu who analyzes your heart and looks and tests your intestines. For it says, Ani Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu. Hashem knows everything that you do. And Hashem knows if you're doing l'shem shamayim and not l'shem shamayim. L'shem shamayim is to do it for Kodesh Baruch Hu. L'shem gaiva is to do it not l'shem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, if you're not careful to be with wisdom and with diligence to be saved from gaiva, your Torah won't do any good, because Torah for gaiva purposes is not real Torah. And he says that you have to be careful. The Yetzer Hara, he lays an ambush for you. Maybe kindness for rayos lahavi adam lidei gaiva, and he brings evidence and proof to bring a person to gaiva. And the gaiva is the intent of the Yetzer Hara is to drive you out of this world. That's his job. You can never rest from conquering the Yetzer Hara, which is going to attack you every day. This is the big war. Like we see, by there was once a chassid. He met people coming back from war. They got a tremendous amount of loot. He said to him, you came back from the small war. The war you came back from is the small war in that it only takes a certain amount of time. But now you're going back to the big war. Amalek said to him, "What's the Mayim Milchama? What's this war?" Amalek, the Yetzer Hara and his armies. Any enemy you have, if you win over them, you're victorious once or twice or 3 times. He's going to give up and go away. Imian nitzach me bamim. The Yitzhara, he's even if you win him 100 times, he's going to be back. He never gives up. Moshe Rabbeinu Seinu, and Chazal say about Tamim B'atzmacha Yomosla. You can't believe in yourself until the day you die. Your entire life is going to lay in ambush for you. Maybe you're going to hide your eyes from him. And in Yinatzcha, the Yitzhar is victorious over you. Even in a light thing. So eventually he's going to be victorious over you. The chomesh shebechamuros in severe things as well. But you give him an opening, he's in. But now the Yitzhara loves to start attacking a person through his pride. Gaiva is the root for many other negative traits. So the Yitzhara also is going to participate and get mixed into everything you do. And the whole purpose of Yitzhara is to say that which is a lie is true, and that which is true is a lie. To deny the truth and to verify the lie. And he teaches a person, you should be proud. Or maybe L'rayos, it means some evidence to be proud. You have to be very smart in fighting against it. And he's going to explain how the Yitzhar works. First, he tries convincing you to sin. He's going to explain this in the next paragraphs. First, he tries convincing you to sin. If he doesn't get you to sin, he's going to convince you that it's a mitzvah to be a Baal Gaiva. How so? So Tchilas, the first strategy of the Yitzhara, he tries to harden his heart and puff him up, lift him up. And he makes sweet for him Gaiva, it's very sweet to feel superior to other people. It's extremely fun and extremely pleasurable. So he says, he makes Gaiva and other midos roast sweet him. Person certainly knows that it's an Aveira to be a Gaiva, at least in this Baal Gaiva, at least at this point. Nevertheless, a person will deliberately give in to his pride and take pride over others. Because fame and honor are such a powerful drive that he's going to pursue that fame and honor even the point he won't care that there's an Aveira involved. So it's a person is easy to catch. You tell him, the Yitzhara says, you're right. It's not fair to be a Baal Gaiva, but look, it's great. It tastes great. So therefore, why not? Just do it. Okay, but there's another level. Let's say a person is pure in his deeds. He won't be proud. He won't praise himself if he knows since he knows it's a sin. The Yitzhara is going to go on to strategy number 2. To pull him down and catch him and snare him in his net. And he's going to say how it's not also to be a Baal Gaiva and do it anyway, but it's also to be a Baal Gaiva. And even more, he'll give you evidence that you have a mitzvah, and he'll get rewarded for taking pride and being being superior over others. So the Yitzhara says like this: listen, you already got to a high level of wisdom and also of righteousness, of tzidkus. So now it's time for you to find a way to make yourself popular. And to try and find favor in the eyes of the world. You should flatter them by going out and sharing your wisdom to the point that they're going to have a relationship with you in which they look up to you, in which you'll be about Gaiva over them. To reveal to them your wisdom and your tzidkus so that they should love you. So a person can be convinced that it's good to influence other people. In order to influence other people, you have to show you're superior to them. Go and show them how smart and how wise and how brilliant you are, and do it in a way which makes them love you. It really doesn't work that way. Nobody loves another person because he's superior to them. Love one person because he is a good person, but a good person means they're also an unav. But the Yetzirah brings you a raya. You have a raya medibi Rabbi Seinu. He can bring a raya from Chazal to his argument. It says kosher ruach brios nochemenu. Anybody who other people are okay with him, ruach hamochel nochemenu. Hashem is also okay with him. So the answer says, listen, you want to be okay with God, you be okay with other people. So if you're okay with other people, and that means that they respect you, look up to you, and you get honor from them, Hashem will also respect you and love you, give honor to you. So it says, no? V'chol zeh rayos sheker, but this is all false proof. But this way of understanding is a symptom of gaiva. But it's like the pasuk says, if God wants, in other words, he is pleased by the pathways of a person, also his enemy, versus his enemies will make peace with him. This is what it means to say, if you don't specifically go try and find praise in other people's eyes. And you won't try and find favor in their eyes by doing good deeds in front of them. So even though you don't go out of your way to convince them how holy and how smart you are, but they give you, they honor you, they love you anyway. You know, you can fool lots of the people lots of the time. So the fact to get people to love you by working on it doesn't prove anything. That's probably because of your guy, but then it comes. But if you don't try and get people to love you, you just try and share wisdom and knowledge with them without that intent. So then, if they love you, then that's evidence that Hashem loves you as well. And he's going to explain that as well. Zelraya, Kodesh Baruch Hu's so that's proof that Hashem loves him. And he planted the love for this person in the hearts of people. And he put their good name, his good name, on their tongues. In other words, if you're not trying, and Hashem nevertheless makes you beloved on the creatures, that means that obviously HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves you as well. But not if you try. If you try, then you can fool a lot of the people a lot of the time, and therefore it doesn't prove anything. The MS and in fact, there are many people, several people at least, that are loved by people, because Hashem hates them. Same kind of sense, so they don't fulfill the mitzvahs. HaKadosh Baruch Hu ohev elolam de Torah umekaimim osa. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu only likes only loves people who learn Torah and fulfill the Torah. Now, many years ago, when I was learning in the Mir in Yerushalayim, so I once heard a shmooze from the other Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, not the singer, but he was a mashgiach in Chaim, Berlin. And I don't remember most of the shmooze, but I remember the beginning of the shmooze. And the beginning of the shmooze was, let's be honest, the entire yeshiva system is built on gaiva. In other words, everybody in yeshiva is competing to feel superior to everybody else. Everybody comes into yeshiva, and the yeshiva set it up as a very competitive system. And the competitive system is who can feel I'm the biggest masmid, I'm the biggest lamdin, I'm the biggest bal musa. And he says this is a problem because we know anything based on gaiva is wrong, right? And you're not supposed to base your vodas Hashem on gaiva. So he had a whole mahalach, which I don't remember, as to why, even though that's the way it starts, but eventually, like mitoshel lishma bo lishma. It starts with the gaiva and the competition, the competitiveness, and eventually becomes that you do L'Shem Shamayim. But he's right. it is a danger in our system, even the yeshiva system, that people are going to learn, because when they learn, they get praises. People are going to daven with great kavanah, so to speak, because people look at them as being a big tzaddikim. People do good deeds because other people they're going to be popular that way. So all that is a problem of gaiva. Of course, like I said, we told Shol Lishma Ba Lishma. You start off Shol Lishma, eventually, hopefully, you'll become Lishma. But Lishma means that you don't do things in order that other people should like you. You do things because they're right, and hopefully, other people come to like you as a result. You don't do things so other people should praise you, but you do things to benefit other people, because you emulate Kodesh Baruch Hu when you're doing things to do chesed to other people. So the gaiva is I'm doing the same thing as the Talmid Chacham is doing, the true Talmid Chacham. I'm doing the same thing as the tzaddik is doing, but he's doing it because he wants to do it for others, for Hashem and for other people. The gaiva is doing it because he wants to show off to Hashem and to other people. And I heard once a very wise statement, which is that if somebody comes to change the world, very often the world changes him. In other words, if a person's Baal Gaiva, eventually they're not going to be authentic. Because what happens is they're going to try, since they need to impress other people, they have to know what's going to impress other people and do what's going to impress them. So they're not, even they had at the beginning of the process an idea of how they want to change the world. But along the way, they have to change themselves to convince other people to follow them. And then they become inauthentic and false. That's how politicians work. Politicians are everything to everybody because they're big Bali Gaiva. They want everybody to praise them, to vote for them. But a person who's going to be Obed Hashem and not about Gaiva, which is to do things for the right reasons, not because I want to be proud, arrogant, haughty, and superior. So he has to be careful to do things with the right mindset. So I think we'll stop here for this week. And then later on, then he's going to come next time to the next tool of the Yetzer Hara to try and get a person to, as you see, to reveal your Hasidus and Ma'asim Tovim to other people so they can emulate you. That's also a great thing, right? It's a good kind of Yetzer Hara has. If I do good, if I look good, other people do good and look good. So that's also, he's going to have to tell us how that works as a part of Gaiva and a part of the Yetzer Hara. Okay, we'll stop here for tonight. This week, I spoke to Tzvi earlier last week. Wednesday night, I have a Din Torah. So I can't do Wednesday night at whatever time, 7 o'clock, 7:15 or 7 o'clock, whatever. If it's only going to be Tzvi, like it was last week, so I made up with him that we will do 3:30. What time we make up, Tzvi?
Yeah.
Wait, do we say 3:30 Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's going to work. So, if I'll have to. I could do Thursday. I'm not sure when the rest of you don't have camp. So if
Everyone's done.
What?
They finished camp.
They finished camp. Oh, okay. So let's do Thursday at 6:45. Because Mincha Mav is like 7:35.
I can't.
Does that work?
Not really. I'll be 15 minutes late.
Okay, so start at 7. Fine. We'll go from 7 to 7:30.
Okay.
Okay. So Thursday, 7 to 7:30. Mir Hashem.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Rabbi.
yes.
So I was talking to Shai yesterday, and he said that his brother. Has Rabbi ever heard of Bavli Peah?
But what?
Bavli Peah.
I don't think so.
Does Rabbi know Rabbi Deitz from the Living Torah Museum?
Yes.
So he says that he found the Bavli Peah in the Vatican, and he's publishing it in 5 years.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Okay. What did he find in the Vatican?
He says he found the Bavli Peah.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Okay, maybe it's fine. It'll take him 5 years to forge it, I guess.
Oh, and is it true that there's like some flying elephant that the Midrash talks about from Mashiach or
No,
something?
not
Yeah. Well, he says he has a 3-second video of it, and National Geographic doesn't want to publicize the species because it's too endangered.
Flying elephants.
Yes.
Okay.
Might not have the details right, but I don't know.
I don't believe any of the things. There's no Bavli on Zorim. We would have a Messiah if there was Bavli on Zorim. So that's A. And B, there are no flying elephants. Otherwise, people know about it. National Geographic wouldn't be the only one to know.
I
No,
don't know.
no way. No, sorry. Don't buy it.
He says everything's on his CDs. Everything's on his CDs.
Okay, well, we'll see them when we see them. Okay, when we see them, then I'll think of believing it.
He also claims he has 18 riots against Tcheles.
The what?
He also claims he has 18 riots against Tcheles.
Oh, okay. All right, when he publishes them, we'll deal with them. All right.
Okay.
So when
Thank
people
you.
say they have stuff and they don't produce it, don't believe them.
Okay. Thank you, Ravi.
Okay, have a good night.